send you off the episode. The Fallout Feed would like to thank the following people for donating $1 to asapodcasting@gmail.com via PayPal for the Fallout Feed Super Duper Special Charity episode. Big thanks to Craig Majors, G. Damascus, Aaron Clow, Grand Hammer, Lee Benjamin, and M. Lehman. Thank you, everybody, so much for those kind $1 donations for this super special episode. Even if it is after November 26th, 2017, and you would like to hear the super duper special charity episode, then please go ahead and send us that $1, and we'd be glad to send you off the episode. Thanks, guys.
Welcome back to the Fallout Feed, Fallout New Vegas, from Blighty. That was it. That for Nigel thing. Welcome back. My name's Colin. I call him in from Essex in England, and my character's name is the Courier. And joining me, as always, is Marcus and Laura.
Hello.
Hiya. Why don't you just pipe up and introduce yourselves?
So my name's Marcus, long-time friend of the show, rolling in with Lucky Bart Stewart, my character, and pretty much blazing through the wastelands in extraneous, gratuitous violence style.
Excellent. I am Laura, host of Westport Radio, which I promise we really are working on another episode. It's just been a bit manic of late, so we will produce more, we promise. And my character for this is Iris, and she marks my first ever round table, as it were. So I'm learning a lot, and it's been quite interesting so far. I have recently moved, so I am a little bit behind. So I am playing a little bit of catch up at the moment, but Marcus and Colin are going to talk me through everything I've missed, I think. So I'm looking forward to this. I have strong feelings about some of the stuff we've done this sort of session. So, yeah.
That's always good. Yeah. The quests, the end of where you go, I went this and we seen that guy and we got the thing and then we left. There's sort of like, questions you don't really want to talk about, or the guests you don't really want to talk to when they have no particular feelings about a thing either way. Kind of like defeats the point of doing the round table.
Also worth noting as well is that Laura is pretty much almost completely calling in, as she's on her mobile phone pretty much, data-wise anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm on the tablet. I did upgrade from the set to the tablet, but yeah, I am sitting in internetless. Thank you very much, EE Mobile, for not being able to install my internet for 4 weeks. Other products are available, people. But but it's not strictly speaking EE. It's apparently it's BT because they've got 4 weeks, which I think is like the 24th, I think might mark 4 weeks of me since I set it up, because I set it up before I moved. But yeah, so there's that. So I've shouted at EE lots and they gave me extra data, so I should be okay for data for the next few weeks.
We almost need a disclaimer, please be aware, Fallout Blighty Edition does not hold any views against EE or BT.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's strictly Laura's what do you want to call it? Nemesis, rival.
It's my personal experience. I've been a loyal EE customer for many years, and I've never had any problems until I decided to get broadband with them. So hopefully, once I'm connected, all those problems will go away and normal service will resume, because I can't be bothered to change from EE.
Yeah.
It's like things you can't be bothered to change. Banks and phone providers these days. It's just like, it's too much effort.
Yeah, no, definitely with you on that one.
Yep.
So tonight we have a couple of quests to do. Following on from our last episode where we finished off, we went to Nipton, and then from Nipton we were moving down the road to Novak, and to do the quest. They went that away, continuing that quest, part 2 of it, and then the other quest, Come Fly With Me, which happens and gets given to you by a character that we meet in Novak. But first, I wanted to ask a few questions about how your character is progressing. Do you guys know what sort of level you are and what sort of perks you've got or anything like that?
Off the top of my head, I'm probably going to give you like the smallest amount of information, because I literally did mine on my lunchtime today. So I didn't get a chance to write down any of my stuff like I promised I would. So I'm going to hang my head in shame. So as far as I can remember at the moment, I have Lady Killer and Confirmed Bachelor.
Okay.
So I've basically woven that in mainly into my character just to try and kick a little bit more ass as best I can. As far as I'm aware, I think I'm pretty much at level 12. 12, maybe 13, I think, at the moment. But as far as information goes, that's all I can remember off the top of my head. So I apologize.
That's no worries. I was just also wondering about your followers as well, because you have Eddie as your assigned follower.
Yes.
But you've also taken Boone with you as flavor text, shall we say.
Indeed, I have, and it's working out brilliantly for my play style, which is basically shoot the shit out of everything that moves.
Yeah, Boone really doesn't have any qualms, and definitely Eddie doesn't. Eddie just wants to kill everything besides you, which
I swear, like Eddie has some sort of weird bloodlust.
Well, he does come from the Enclave, doesn't he? Isn't he Enclave technology?
Yeah, iBots are predominantly Enclave, yeah.
So yeah, definitely on the bad side of there. So
yeah,
I was just going to say, have you gotten? I mean, it's probably a little bit after Novak, but have you gotten to any of the the quest stuff with Eddie?
No. I haven't gotten anywhere with that. I can't remember very well how it all goes with Eddie. I know I've only ever really done it once, as far as I think you get a choice between the Brotherhood and someone else.
You do,
but,
yeah.
Yeah,
the followers.
But as far as that goes, I haven't come across anyone yet. And as for Boone, he hasn't really spoken to me much since I.
What, Boone? Really?
Yeah.
He's such a talkative chap usually.
He is.
There's stuff like going on and on, about cookies and candy floss and stuff like that, usually with me. Anyway.
Yeah. But mostly I think my play style seems to sit quite nicely with him, keeping his trigger finger nice and exercised. So.
Definitely. And Laura, how's your playthrough going?
I think I'm only about level 8, I think, at the moment, because I haven't really deviated that much off sort of the assigned quests. I haven't really had a chance to sort of properly sit down and sort of give it, sort of like just, deviate and play around with it. And so for kind of perk wise, I think I've sort of the last couple of times I've sort of been taking the one that gives you the opportunity to add stuff to your special, because I've just
intense training.
Yeah, in order to not be a beautiful idiot that my character has been thus far, which is what I'm not supposed to be, despite the fact that that's what the role gave me. I figured I've been trying to get my sort of like intelligence up so I can start building on my science, and that's one of the things I'm supposed to be using. And I think it sort of like it works. And I want to. I've been kind of adding a lot of points to like barter and the such, just because I do not get very good deals with merchants, it seems, unless I can talk them down. I mean, once I've got it, it's great. So get some nice cheap prices, but I figured that has been quite helpful. Sort of that barter, sort of tied with charisma, sort of works quite well for me. Of work, I just want to get stuff really, really cheap. So that is what I've been kind of focusing on. I think I may need to go for something like sort of Lady Killer, because a lot of the time, sort of I'm reading, it seems to be a perk that's quite helpful. So don't know why.
With you, you're obviously with your character Iris. It wouldn't be Lady Killer. It would be Cherchez la Femme.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the thing that. Yeah.
And you'll also have Black Widow as well, because I like the fact that they have both of them in there. Like in other games, like in Skyrim, you only have the one. You got the one perk in speech that says you get 10% better prices from the opposite sex. You don't have, although in Skyrim you can have same-sex marriages and all of that sort of thing, but with that one you can only flirt apparently in business deals with the opposite sex. And there's also the thing with when we're going to get into it later when you're talking to Manny. There's I think you can use if you have a male character and you have what's the bachelor one? What's the bachelor one? I can't remember.
Bachelor.
Confirmed bachelor. You can use confirmed bachelor to flirt with Manny to get him to give you the information. But if you're a female character and you have Black Widow, you can't use Black Widow to flirt with him and get the information. As far as I know, I think it's only confirmed bachelor. So basically, they have locked them down into it. So you know how in most games, you can, whichever one's available to marry, whether they're a male or female, you can get with pretty much anybody.
Mm.
You can do it with anybody however you want. But with this one, they've specifically said that no, Manny, although you flirt with him, kind of, you can only flirt with him as a man. You can't flirt with him as a woman because he doesn't take it. If you understand what I'm saying.
He does take it. Just
yeah. But I like that. It's like you've got a restriction on what your character can do, and it'll be completely different for the next one if you play a female character.
Mm. No, I quite like that as well. If that is the case, then I like the way they've actually built that in specifically for that.
Well, that is quite good. I mean, that's again sort of different to 4, because whilst it didn't really bother me, one of the complaints I've heard about 4, amongst the many, is that they didn't like the fact that, kind of like modern Doctor Who, everyone's bisexual.
Yeah.
Which is it. That didn't bother me at all. But and I didn't really see personally from a gameplay. I didn't. But I think I kind of get. I like the way, if that's how things, this sort of 3 and New Vegas works a bit more in the sense that, yeah, people have, not everyone is bisexual. You know, people might go sort of, there's a whole rainbow of sexuality out there, and and they kind of, which I think is pretty cool actually, and that kind of actually implies there's a bit more thought behind the characters than just that. Yeah, man, woman, you like them both, great, all of them default bisexual.
Yeah, they didn't just tar everybody with the same brush.
Yeah,
I think that's nice.
Thought, yeah.
Kind of more like real life,
It's like, there's a character you meet later on once you get into. It's actually not in New Vegas proper, but it's right next to it. It's Camp McCarran, and there's a female NPC, and she's in Boone's former squad, the snipers. I can't remember what the name is. I can't remember what the name is, but it's the one with the red caps and with the red berets. And she's a lesbian, and you go up to her, you try to go, oh wow, how, like, my character walks up and says, so I like tough women, you fancy going on the date? And I think she comes out and says something like, you've got a bit too much penis or something like that for me. I literally turns around and says, no, I only fancy women and everything like that. So I
There you
got
go.
no interest in you. Get lost.
See, that's good. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing that they've done that in 4, because I think that helps with their, kind of, it means that you, as kind of a player, can kind of do more, sort of, fulfill you, put yourself maybe a bit more, in the character, like they're a bit more of a blank slate. So therefore, whether it's gay, straight, or bisexual, or anything in between, you can kind of sort of work. You can sort of put yourself into that. But whereas maybe sort of this is a bit more like, if you're a boy, you're a boy, and if you're a girl, if you're a boy, that you like women. If you're, maybe I don't know, maybe that's the so maybe that's where sort of 4 kind of improved in some way. I could be, completely talking about my ass on this one, but that's sort of maybe I wonder whether that's maybe what they're doing. They were kind of doing a bit more the kind of classic trick that young adult fiction writers employ by sticking a terrifically dull, generic blank slate of a lead character that anyone can kind of superimpose themselves on. So maybe that's what kind of 4 was going for a bit more, whereas 3 is a bit more like, you will be this character and you will do this.
Colin, it's first recon.
That's it. First recon. Thank you, sir. That was going to bug me for the next 4 hours. I was going to say, and your follower, how is Eddie? How are you getting along with Eddie?
Oh yeah, I haven't picked him up yet. No, I'm not one of. I'm not really that into followers. It's that much, but I will go back in. I'll sort him out at some point, I'm sure.
To be fair though, I think Eddie is actually one of my favourites.
He is, yeah, definitely. Yeah. For something so inanimate that doesn't have a voice, like you have, was it Codsworth?
Mm.
Is it Codsworth or Wordsworth? No, it's Codsworth, isn't it?
Yeah.
In that, even though he has a voice and he's very well acted out, got a sort of some great lines in it, Eddie's got some serious personality for something that doesn't talk.
Yeah, considering all of it, his vocabulary consists of beeps and whistles.
Yes,
it's pretty much like, I think it just sort of brings me back to my childhood watching Buck Rogers. And stuff like that, with Tweaky, yeah. And R2D2, C3, or whatever. I think it's R2D2, wasn't it? Yeah, because C3P is the annoying one.
Yeah. Was it? I forgot what I was going to say. Any idea on perks? So you've just done the intense training mostly, yeah?
Yeah, and I can't remember. It's one of those things. You sort of, again, it's because it's such a large list. I sort of pick stuff and then can't remember why I picked it, or it sounded like a good idea at the time, or so. I'm not. I probably should write these things down, but it's aside from the intense training ones. I was like, oh yeah, that would do. I'll have that. So I'm not really sure what I've done. I'm trying to pick things that are a bit more. So I think. So either that can help me in kind of a sort of melee situation, as I'm still supposed to be a melee character, although failing miserably at that, I have to admit, and I need to enter, or something that will kind of get my sciencey skills up, because that's what I'm supposed to be doing as well. But I haven't been. Yeah, me and perks. We tend to. I'm sort of. I went through all of 4 without. I didn't take a single perk until I'd got 10 in every single one of my specials. So,
Nice.
it was a fun way to play. It started off because I didn't realize that's what you could do, and then in the end, it just became like, no, that's it. We're just gonna get 10 in every single category. Then we're gonna start taking perks. So I don't know whether I think I might have made it intentionally quite hard for myself the first time around for that one, but it was fun. So yeah, perks are cheating.
I think you need to get yourself a power fist in New Vegas. I think you'd enjoy melee a little bit more once you get the power fist.
Yeah, I think that's it. I haven't really found any decent melee weapons thus far. I'll admit to not really be looking, but nothing in any of the vendors is really like sort of,
I think they were arguing about this in the other what your tags were.
Oh gosh. Off the top of my head, I cannot remember what my tags were.
One of them was science,
I think that's all I got. I think I might have got just. I think it was. I had something to do with melee, but I don't know whether that was a tag skill or. Let's have a look. Gosh, it'll be in my photos somewhere. So I screen grabbed it a long time ago.
Yeah, because a knife and like a tire iron and a baseball bat, that's all melee, but a power fist is actually classed as unarmed. So boxing gloves.
That's it. Yeah, I had science, melee weapons, and barter. So my barter is coming along really well. Melee weapons, not so much. Science, we're getting there, but it has involved having to like up sort of my intelligence, which started off as 3 and is now on, I think, 5. So, yeah. So we've upped that like a whole 2 things just to try and make it a little bit easier for me.
Yeah, I like the way that. Well, I don't know whether I like it or not, but it's you can have an intelligence of 1, but you can keep on putting points into your science. So you can have a science of 100, but have an intelligence of 1, which is
yeah. I mean, does it? I mean, how does that affect it in the long term? Or does it not? Or I mean, what's this sort of?
Well, intelligence affects those little pips that you can put in. It doesn't affect your experience gained. It affects those. So the more higher your intelligence, the more of the little points that you can put into your skills you get every time you level up.
Okay, I've this is it. Me and skills are not particularly. I'm just like, up stuff, hit things. Having to think about stuff is it's a new experience for me. I'm just like, oh, stories and pretty scenery.
Excuse me 1 second.
I think mine is generally just sort of like looking through the scope and just sort of like watching things explode.
So yours is, how can I more efficiently shoot people in the face?
Yes.
Whereas mine is, how can I more efficiently talk people into giving me cheaper goods and just doing stuff without me having to do any killing?
Yeah, it was like, don't make me walk all the way down the end of the road. It's like really far and it's really hot. Can't you just like give me the information now?
Yeah, it's unless it's fun, unless I'm genuinely intrigued. But some things, when it's a bit back and forth, I'm like, just tell me stuff now. Give me the details now. Here's some money. I just can't even be bothered to try and steal stuff from you. This is boring me now.
Well, with myself, I had some time off from work, and I had nothing to do, and Fallout New Vegas was just sitting there. So this kind of stuff happens. So I'm kind of level 33 now. So I think I was starting off with my perks. My tag skills were guns, repair, and sneak. I think it was sneak. Maybe?
Yeah, I think yours was sneak, because I remember us chatting about sneak, and we were talking about at some point you're gonna probably get to the point where you're gonna. I think there's a perk in sneak that lets you walk over traps without setting them off.
Ah, yes, that was it. I was talking about that with I think it was Adam in the Facebook group.
That was it.
Well, because you got the all the traps that are in the the Dead Money DLC. Absolute nightmare, that DLC. Absolute effing nightmare. And when you're playing on hardcore, where your followers can die, literally, you're
churn.
Yeah, definitely. You're just thrown in a meat grinder. You've got none of your shit. You have none of your shit. When you get there, you have nothing. All the stuff that you have with you now, none of it comes with you. So you have none of your weapons. You got none. The only thing you have that you can bring with you is your implants. That's it. Everything gets left behind, and you have to pick everything up inside the DLC. It's a nightmare, but it's awesome at the same time. So yeah, my perception was like 2, I think,
Yeah.
2 or 3, and it was really, really bad. And with the build, I wasn't getting what I was wanting of how I would do things, and I think I was missing out on some speech stuff.
Mm.
So I'd done a few intense trainings, and now my perception, that was it. I wanted to get the perk better criticals. So you do 50% more damage when you score a critical. Because I have sneak, if you hit a target in sneak without them detecting you, it's an automatic crit.
Yep.
And because seeing as I have sneak, pretty much nobody knows where the fuck I am 90% of the time anyway. So I pretty much crit whenever I shoot anybody. So I wanted that 50% extra damage every time I've done it. So I had to put loads of points into intense training to get the better criticals perk. I also have finesse, which is another perk which I think it gives me a better critical chance. So with Boone's hat as well, because I talked to Boone a little bit. So now I got that. I still have an endurance of 1. I'm leaving it as an endurance of 1. I'm not putting that up. But was it some of the perks that I really like that I've picked up? There's one called "And Stay Back" for the shotgun.
Ooh.
And basically, I've picked up a shotgun technique that every once in a while I knock people on their ass when I shoot them with a shotgun.
Nice. Is there an automatic shotgun in this game at all?
There's one that's similar to an automatic shotgun. It's called, and I actually just picked it up.
Ooh.
You can buy it, I think, but I find it's in the same place every time. It's in Vault 22, and it's called the Riot Shotgun.
Nice.
Awesome. Excuse me 1 second.
So I'm assuming then with the Riot Shotgun that you'd more than likely end up knocking people back quite a lot then. So I can imagine a lot of people going up against him and falling over.
Yeah, so the thing with the Riot Shotgun, it's the same with the combat shotgun in 4. You can whack one of the what do you call it, the mods for it is a drum. So you can have I think it's like 30 round drum thrown on the side of it. So you barely ever run out. I think it's 12 gauges. I think it's the highest DPS shotgun you can get in the game.
So you're going to roll with that then?
No, I've got a named shotgun that I want to talk about later.
Oh.
But yeah, and Stayback was one of the ones, which is one of the perks that I'm loving at the moment, especially with this new shotgun that I got. I've got Eddie as my follower as well, but I've gotten through all his quest stuff that can lead me to get the extra thing, because once you get through the quest stuff, and literally what Eddie is that you just got with all of them actually, you just got to go from place to place to place, and then certain conversations will activate his memory, and then he'll like relay, you hear something coming through from somebody else, like a pre-recorded voice, and without checking the wiki, it's hard to tell of what places you can go to. So it appears it's the same places in every single playthrough, but it appears like it's random, and you can't really plot out where you're supposed to go unless you check the wiki. But I've gotten to the point now where I can take him to either place to get him to do the upgrade, and one place upgrades his armor, the other one upgrades his weapons. You can't take him to both, so you can't take him to one then the other. You got to take him to only one. But I want to go through not the Dark Brotherhood, excuse me, wrong game. The Brotherhood of Steel, but I want to go through that, get to them naturally throughout the game. I don't want to sort of like, because I know where they are. I don't just want to travel straight over there and fall into it. I want to, because I had my other follower was Raul, and Raoul was a pain in the ass to try and get him to finish out his quest. To be able to get to the perk of what he gives you. Because I knew who I had to talk to, like what type of character I needed to talk to get him to open up, but I didn't know exactly which ones it was. And it was basically with him, you have to talk to people who are of an older generation, but are still useful, because he felt that because he was a pre-war ghoul, he felt that he was useless and he wasn't helping anybody. So you had to talk to NPCs who were old but still making themselves useful. And I finally managed to finish it up the other day. But that's where I currently am. Level 33 with my shotgun perk. That's where Eddie has finished up. So, give me 1 second. I've got a really bad cough. What do you take over?
So, Laura, with your
Yes.
with your character at the moment, where are you thinking of going with combat-wise now?
So, well, I need to have a serious bit of a restock at the moment, because I just got I have a habit. I'm one of these people. I get to I will run through all my ammunition, weapon by weapon, and increasingly getting it worse and worse to the point when I'm just throwing forks and toy cars at people. So I need to sort of have a bit of a clean out, I think, and like a restock. I mean, I generally really like energy weapons whenever I play, sort of like in 3 like that, and 4 really got on well with those. But I think it's like I was supposed to be good at melee, so I'm going to maybe try with that, but I'm going to go out and look for something a bit more useful than the machete I've had, and a tire iron. I for me, when it comes to melee, I like fast rather than sort of heavy, because I like to be able to get in quick, smack things about a bit, and then run away. It's like I can't be. I don't have a. I think my character doesn't have enough endurance to take a lot of damage. So I'm just going to try once I've kind of finished up, because I'm sort of mid sort of questy type stuff at the moment. Once I've finished sort of the main quest I'm on, I think I'm going to maybe just sort of do a bit of like casual exploring, and by exploring I mean visiting all the fine vendors of the local area, and do a bit of scavenging and just see what I can find. But I'd preferably not something that involves going and having to kill lots of people and raid their bodies, because that just might, in terms of, that's not going to help my character live much longer. It's like, so I want to go find something that's going to be fun to play with as a weapon, and go from there. So we'll see. But I'm kind of been quite linear with this game, so I haven't diverted too far away from the quests, although I've got a load that sort of have appeared in my quest inventory. So
have we lost?
Hello?
Those 2.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, all right.
There you go. You back, or am I back?
Yeah, you're
It
back.
must be you back. Because I can hear her fine.
Okay, fair enough.
Can't remember what I was talking about now. Oh dear, my quest's been quite linear thus far. So I've got a few side quests that have recently appeared. So I might maybe explore a few of those. I'm really starting to give myself a bit more variety and level up a bit. But it's a kind of at the moment it's a little bit finding the time. I don't know where it is, but I don't seem to have any at the moment. So even tonight was a bit of a squeeze. But I need to have sort of a day or so where I can play and not feel guilty about doing it. But I do tend to be one of these people who always thinks I should be doing something else. So we'll have to try and find it. Unfortunately, I don't get to. I can't play in my lunch break. I don't think work could approve me lugging an Xbox in.
I think I'm just one of those lucky people that I have an Xbox as part of my work equipment, so
Nice.
it's rather easy for me to do stuff. like that.
That's pretty cool, because to be able to, dip in a few. See, that's the thing. I can't do the whole like 10, 20 minutes that people. So yeah, I know Andrew is particularly good at it. Is it a skill that comes when you have kids? Is that sort of how it works? Like you suddenly have children and you suddenly develop the ability to game for just like 10, 20 minutes. Whereas
No. The only skill that I've gained from kids is being able to function at work on under 2 hours sleep. So
fair enough. All right, yeah, because I know Andrew talks about it, that he sort of dips in and like does like 20-minute sessions and sort of stuff like that, and I don't know how he can do that. It's
no, I have no idea how we can do that either.
No, it's like, I mean, mostly because I kind of just lose track of time the second I start going. I'm like, oh, just do another 20 minutes, and then suddenly it's like an hour and a half later. So yeah.
Yeah, that's when you've done a proper good session. It's that they start playing and run. Oh, I just kill this guy. You've died about 27 times trying to kill like everything in there at this particular dungeon, and then you come out and then you're like, why is it so dark? Is there a storm going on? It's like 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah, I haven't actually been there quite with Fallout. I mean, I've had some long sessions, but I think the first time that I think it was when Portal 2 came out. It came out like it was like a bank holiday weekend, so I pre-ordered it, and I think he got in on the Friday, and it was one of these. I was living alone at the time, and I sort of deliberately like kept that weekend like a bank holiday weekend, and for some reason I also didn't happen to be working on it. I kind of like kept it free, and just didn't like plan anything, and then sort of started playing Portal on like the Friday night, and it was completed by the Monday, so that was which is quite good for me. But the first day I sort of got home from work probably that's sort of, I think it's about 4 p.m, and I sort of picked up, I was like, great. So sort of started playing. I think at some point I ordered pizza, and then the next thing I know it was like 4 a.m. I don't know what happened there.
Just you and the pizza guy sitting there playing games.
It was a good weekend, as weekends go. I regret nothing.
Yeah. I think the longest session I had on Skyrim, I think was just over 30 hours. I think of non-stop play, because I had one of those horrific like flus or coughs or influenza, whatever the hell it was, where every time you cough your head explodes in a headache, and it feels like you've ripped like an ounce of flesh off your throat every time you cough, and your eyes are watering. So every time I lay down or anything like that, I just was in intense pain. So I was just playing Skyrim just non-stop, and I went on for like literally 30 hours. And it was fun. I got a lot done. I built all the Hearthfire houses, got my smithing up to 100, alchemy up to 100, enchanting up to 100. It was nice, When I started playing again the next week, I didn't have to worry about sort of like whether my armor was the best, because it was all legendaried out and everything.
Yeah. See, I've never quite done that. I'm not as I think I've sort of made it quite clear. I'm a terrible gamer. I like sort of story elements, and I get a bit bored by crafting and settlement. But I mean, my settlements just looked so shit in full. I mean, they just look so terrible. Mostly because I haven't really done much with them. I think the only time I ever put any effort into, or not even effort, but I had to do like mandatory settlement building, was when we did the Dead is Dead challenge, and I needed to level up a little bit before leaving Sanctuary, because I wasn't going to go out on nothing. So then I did a lot of building and scrapping and building and scrapping, and yeah, that was torture.
Do we want to start getting into some quests?
I think we should, because I am about to say it's a school night.
Wait, 1 second.
Yeah, so the first one.
We're continuing with They Went Dead Away, but they kind of blend in with each other. So after we
Yeah.
leave, was it Nipton? So we head through Nipton, and then once we deal with Nipton, we head back and tell Ghost what happened, tell that other guy, and scare the shit out of all the NCR.
Yeah.
Do we have an update on who has which faction? I am with Mr. House.
I'm NCO.
I'm undeclared at this particular point. It's like I'm supposed to go with Caesar's Legion, but they like me. They're not trying to kill me or anything like that. But I don't know. I don't. So no one's wooed me sufficiently yet. But then again, I haven't explored as much as the rest of you. So I'm just waiting. As my character, she's waiting on the. I've kind of decided early on to kind of scrap the whole Caesar's Legion thing unless someone made me an offer I can't refuse. So we're. Yeah, so at the moment we're a little bit undecided. So, but sorry, my tap's dripping. I'm a little bit. You just hear it from the kitchen. It's annoying me. I am undecided. But I haven't met everyone yet. That's the other thing. It's like this is the whole. How do you know you hate people? Because you haven't met them all yet. So, I'm looking to meet as many of them as I can before and I'm trying to remain as neutral as possible, kind of with all of them. I think the only people who don't like me are the powder gangers. Because I kind of killed them all off quite early, and then raided them. But I'm trying to keep everyone else on side because I think, as much as Iris likes a bit of fun, life is a lot more fun when people aren't taking pot shots at you.
Nah, I'll never agree with that. This spring ends. But mind you, my guy is actually pretty. He has no enemies at the moment. Because although he's vilified by the powder gangers, sometimes they'll attack him, and sometimes they won't. It depends on which powder gangers he runs into. I think it's because he didn't kill them all in Good Springs, and then he got attacked just outside of Prim. So then that got him vilified. So then, because he went to the prison and didn't get shot by any, he was able to talk his way in and went out, and then some more powder gangers came after him afterwards, so he killed them, and then he became vilified. Then so they started attacking him, and then I went to the vault that they're in, to the other powder gangers who were inside the vault, talked to the vault powder gangers, and then he wasn't hated by anybody anymore. Well, he was still vilified, but they didn't attack him inside. It's weird. Never mind. Let's talk about the quests. Excuse me. I was just going to say, you talking about melee weapons. I know where there's a named melee weapon that you might be able to pick up. You can have a look at, and it's as you leave Nipton and you head north of that road. Yeah. Did you get attacked by those Viper gunslingers and stuff like that are up?
Yes, I did.
And you found the the mines in the middle of the road, which is always fun.
I didn't kind of run over those. I have a habit of sticking to the edges of roads sometimes.
Yeah. I remember quite clearly many a time in different playthroughs, even though I knew that they're still running into bloody stupid mines because they're hidden underneath cones and everything like that.
Yeah.
If you head up that road after you kill those guys, loot the bodies, that sort of stuff, and then you follow the road around, if you look up, there's sort of like a lookout, like a little bird's nest, just looking down where you are. So if you walk up to that little bird's nest that's looking down on where that crashed truck was, and behind that there's a little tiny farm that's completely uninhabited, with a little farmhouse right in the center of it. If you go inside there, there's a named melee weapon in there. So you can go and have a look at that and see if that suits your fancy.
I'll have a look. I will have to give it a go next time I'm out that way.
Colin's top tip.
I'll certainly be looking for that one. So we're on our way to Novak.
Yep, we get to Novak. I'll pop into Ranger Station Charlie, which you've got some NCR in there.
Chat about communications with them. Very
Yeah.
riveting stuff. I got bored and left.
Yeah, and then from there we carry on and we finally get to Nipton, and we find an old friend. Did you meet an old friend in Nipton, Marcus?
An old friend.
Yeah, we have an old friend with us is there.
I'm trying to remember now. No, my memory has disappeared.
If you don't walk, if you don't walk right up to him, you could probably miss him. But we meet up with Victor.
Oh yeah, sorry.
He's
everywhere.
Oh yeah. He sort of appeared.
Yeah, I had it because I was crabbing along the map, going from side to side instead of going straight up it. So I could still play but not advance the quest. I went. I think it's north. The other side. Basically, I went the opposite way out of Good Springs, the way you're not supposed to go, up past all the cazadors.
Yeah.
And as I was in that area, I saw, you know how when you start to speak to somebody, it's basically like to grab hold of your head and twist it around to face them and then lock you in conversation. Like the guy with the bottle caps, when he goes up and starts telling you about the Blue Star bottle caps, you're sort of like, you're there in your middle of doing something and then suddenly you just stop and he pulls you into a conversation.
Yeah.
It was like that, but with Victor. And Victor goes, "Oh, hey there, buddy. What you doing out here?" And you're like, not much.
Well,
just
away from you.
yeah, just wandering around. Obviously, because you have rude responses, but you also have sort of like nothing much. Just like neutral responses. And he's like, "Oh, because it's kind of dangerous around here. You don't want to be around here. This particular area. You might want to head all yourself down to Prim instead of being around here. This is mighty dangerous territory around here." All right, thanks, Victor. Or he could also say, like, "Fuck off, robot. I do what I want."
Yeah. I don't know, Victor. Yeah, I just find him more of this. He's not really done any harm. He's just this kind of like weird anomaly that just keeps cropping up. So I'm just like, all right, you crack on there, old Victor. But yeah, I enjoyed arriving in Novak for the first time. Again, obviously for me as a sort of first time player of the old New Vegas. I liked the aesthetic. I liked the Dinky Dino. I thought that was great. And I do love like pointless roadside attractions. So I thought that was excellent. I'm about to say, as I think I'm fairly certain in one of my I think like episode 2 of my podcast, WVR, listen to it. I think we did a whole segment on like the top roadside attractions in America. So the Dinky Dino would certainly be one that I think Susan would be interested in.
Yeah.
Up there with the chocolate mousse, which is a mousse made of chocolate, which I think is particularly fantastic. So I liked that. I also liked the reason the town was called Novak is because of the no vacancy thing. I was like, aha, that tickled me way more than it should have. I might have been tired when I was playing it, but that did really, really make me quite happy. I was like, oh, that's brilliant. Haha, lol. So yeah, that was certainly good. And I liked the motel. I thought I just liked the way it was planned. I did like the sort of aesthetic. Because at first I thought, oh, it's going to be a bit, because I think the first thing I came across was like the garage or something, and I didn't notice I didn't see the dinosaur, and I was like, oh great, just another shitty like Red Rocket like imitation thing, and whatever they call their garages out here, and then I sort of saw like the Dinky Dino and the way the motel was designed, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I like this. It's like this is a fun place. I want to be here more. So yeah, and then you speak to the lady Jeannie. Is it Jeannie who runs the
Jeannie May?
Yeah.
Jeannie May. She's
nice
to the
you're
guy
going in and out there for a second.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you speak to her, and she gives you she tells you who to speak to and stuff. And I thought that was nice. And then you get to go in the dinosaur, and it wasn't a saga to get into the freaking dinosaur. I thought that was like brilliant because I was expecting, oh god, I'm gonna get there and it's gonna be locked, and then I'm gonna have to speak to some other twat, and they're gonna be like, oh, you've got to do something. No, you didn't. You just get to walk in. It's like, thank you for just letting me walk in the thing I want to walk in, and not make me jump through a million hoops to just get like a key or do something really sensible. So I really like Novak. What can I say?
Did you sit there and clap? You sit there actually.
I did sort of like I laughed for way too long at the Novak thing, and then I kind of took a room, and I also liked the room because it wasn't like really shit. It was like a little bit shit, but actually looked like she's made some effort in the last like 200 years that someone's cleaned up. You know, they put a sheet on the bed. You know, it's not just a dirty mattress like it seems to be in every other hotel in 4 that you come across. It's just like, oh yeah, we've just dirty mattresses and we're going to charge you for the privilege. It's like I might as well go to sleep in an alleyway, quite frankly, with some of the stuff in 4. So I liked it. I liked the fact that there was stuff I could take that wasn't stealing, like a shitload of stuff you could take that wasn't stealing. So I'm very on board with Novak. Novak, I think I understand why Boone and Manny were like, yeah, it's great, let's stay here. I'm like, yeah, I want to stay here too. You might have found something that's going to tame Iris. Well done, Novak. It's like, I like the slow pace of living. It's good. So yeah, so that was my first experience of Novak, and I liked it a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah, I literally steamrolled through, so I just walked in,
kicked the gate open.
Yeah, immediately turned right. Walked straight through the door, left a Bart Stewart-sized hole in the door, walked straight up the stairs, and spoke to the guy in the dinosaur mouth with the gun.
Is Manny ex? I've forgotten her name again.
No, I don't think he was first recon, but he was NCR.
Yeah, I know he's NCR, but he wasn't first recon. Wasn't he a spotter? Yeah, he was first recon because he's got his.
He's got his beret.
Yeah, he's got his beret as well, doesn't he?
Yes.
Does he?
Yeah, and he says he does say he was his Boone spotter, doesn't he? So that kind of implies they work together as a little sniper team.
Yeah, I can't remember him being. Oh yeah, no, he is. Sorry, I'm just being stupid. First recon.
But yeah, you go up and you speak to him, and he tells them like the weird story about how like he didn't like Boone's wife, and that they kept arguing, and it's like, dude, it's like it's like third wheel. You're third wheel. Just back off. It's like if Boone wants to marry a woman that's not right for him, you just got to be there for him when it all inevitably falls apart.
But then Manny was also a great Khan as well.
He was. He does say that. As he points out, they're the toughest gang. The biggest, really great gang.
Yeah, because you actually say to him, don't you? You're like, he goes, you're in a gang, were they tough? And he goes, were they tough? I was in the cons, man.
Yeah.
Don't get no tougher.
Gives like a Trump response. They were the greatest gang.
And then Lucky Bart Stewart shoots him in the face. Not so tough now, are you?
Have you actually shot him in the face, Marcus?
I was only joking. You didn't shoot him in the face, did you?
I did.
Can you shoot him in the face?
Anyone can die. Anyone can die at any time.
No, I just did. He was, I wanted to find out again, back to the please tell me who shot me in the head kind of scenario. And then he wouldn't tell me. And then he kept saying how Novak was really nice. And I was like, yeah, no, it is really nice. Like, totes agree. And then he said, you've got to go to the rocket place because we rely on scrap, etc. And I was like, yeah, well, and so my thinking was, well, if I want to settle down here eventually, maybe not right away, because I am a little bit like Lassie or the littlest hobo in this scenario, but it's one day I might want to settle down. And Novak seems like a good place. So I thought, I better go up and clear it of the feral ghouls, because kind of shooting feral ghouls in the head is always quite good fun. They do have the best sort of explosion sort of thing going on
I just like the whole sort of ragdoll thing as they sort of like fly across. Yeah.
So good. And it's like that. They kind of explain quite. It's good, great fun animation for shooting feral ghouls. So I was like, great, yeah, I'm up for that.
The only thing that I don't like is the fact that they sound like they're always dry heaving.
Yeah, yeah, I get a lot of that. No, just die like a normal zombie.
But they're good, and they don't cause much damage. You know, you can sort of have like 6 or so like on top of you, and it doesn't really you know, have any effect whatsoever.
No, they are quite squishy.
Yeah, they are pretty squishy. You know, you can kind of just like push them off. You're like, yeah.
Yeah. You guys with your 5 or more your endurance. One of them hits me, I get 3 broken fucking bones. Bastard.
Oh, yeah, so I was all up for that. So I marched my way up to the retcon. Sorry, is it repcon? Repcon, is that it? Or retcon? Repcon
With the P.
Repcon. Yeah, Repcon, and so I went up there. I liked the aesthetic of that as well from the outside. I was like, okay, you know, big rocket, and I was, you know, so I was quite happy. You know, killed a few ferals going in. I was like, great, you know, that's good. And then walked in, and then immediately realized what I'd walked into and started hating it. And thus began my love-hate relationship with Come Fly With Me. Because it was the walking in of being like, fuck, this is just another one of these stupidly dank, dingy dungeon type things, and I will get lost within 2 minutes. And lo and behold, yes, I did. I know it said go east. No, that didn't seem to really help at all. So I really, really hated that. So I don't like the layout of it. It annoyed me. And what annoyed me even more was there was like only a couple of exits, and they never took you anywhere useful. One thing I did like about 4 is conveniently every time you kind of finished a quest, no matter how deep you were, oh look, there's a door to get out. And I was like, great.
I think what was worse is his directions are really shit. Because yes, it is east, but you actually have to go up a floor.
Yes, exactly, and that wasn't clear in the instructions.
It was not. No.
Yeah. So again, it was mostly ghouls, so it didn't really bother me. Like up to this point, it was just a bit kind of that added frustration of I'm lost, and these little fuckers won't leave me alone, and that really did that sort of that kind of I did kind of have a little bit of a sense of humor failure midway through that. But eventually, I found the room on the east with the ladder and went up there, and yeah. So that was my first experience, and so that was the bit that at that point I was like, I'm hating this quest. This quest is just a dungeon, kill lots of ghoul quest, and I'm not down with this. This is not fun. This is just repetitive and annoying.
I've just got like a mental image of like you with a 9mm pistol walking through, going around a corner, seeing another ghoul, and go, for fuck's sake, not another one, bang, and then walking around another corner, like just where you've been, but facing the opposite direction, going, which fucking door was this again?
Yep. That was pretty much it. Just to think by this point, I think I had my magnum on me at this point. But it was just every time headshot. Boom, why the fuck are these people? Why won't they leave me alone? And it just took ages because everything looks the same, and then even when it doesn't look the same, I can't remember how I got to that place. It's like there is something about those kind of those sort of levels really just absolutely messes with my sense of direction, and I can never. It takes me a really long time to memorize the sort of the layout, but I don't know what you guys thought about the initial first bit of the of the quest, because otherwise I could just continue my narrative / rant that goes through all the emotions.
I like the way is that you come in and you're talking about sort of like, you know, the ferals and getting lost, and that was your oh shit, this is going to be a fucking pain in the ass. When I first done it, when I came through the door, my oh shit moment was after the ghoul talks to us over the intercom, is that the look down and there's a fucking grey super mutant lying dead on the floor, and you're like, that was my oh fuck moment, was seeing the fucking giant grey
Nightkin.
Like, when I first saw them, I thought it's a fucking super mutant. It's a grey super mutant. What's going on? Because when I first played, I didn't know what super mutants and Nightkin were. Well, I knew what super mutant was, but I never knew what. And he's there, and he's got a stop sign as a pair of gauntlets. It was just freaking me out. So, and don't worry. Well, I say don't worry. If it makes you feel any better, everybody gets lost in there. every single playthrough. I think I've had like 6 playthroughs, and I got lost in there for like 20 minutes.
Turned around
It's
for a
annoying.
good 10 minutes or so.
I'd love to have a look at. I might have to like Google an actual floor plan of that place just to see if it makes sense, or is it more like the Golden Girls house, which makes absolutely no sense if you thought about it from like a sort of sensible perspective. So it's I have a feeling it's all lies, and it uses portals. So it's the only explanation for why that design is terrible. But yeah, nonetheless, then so you get up the stairs after shooting things, and aside from the fact that it's a bit turny, sort of twisty hallway kind of thing, and it isn't too taxing because it's mostly feral ghouls, and we can kind of all take care of those. So you go up the stairs, you go to press the buzzer in the intercom, and you're let in, and you meet that dude who's not a ghoul but thinks he's a ghoul. Is that the identity crisis man?
Chris Haversham, I believe.
Yes, that sounds right. That sounds like him. And I kind of never, I didn't really, because I think I was so pissed off with the quest by the end of it. I don't think I ever properly invested in talking to him in such a way that would have got anything really meaningful from him. Like, I don't think I got in sort of the end of my sort of quest. I didn't really get much of a resolution. It was just like, just build the damn rocket. Just build the damn rocket. I don't care. I don't want to talk about your weird, your identity issues that you clearly have going on, because all I could work out was he's ghoul is because he went prematurely bald. and he was working on the reactor in the vault, and he went prematurely bald, and as a result of that, he thinks he's a ghoul. And I was just like, dude, look in a mirror. It's just like, there must be some mirrors in this place. It's like, it's like, why are you doing the voice? Surely that hurts.
Confession to make. I shot him. I failed the quest and shot him in the forehead.
So what do you do if you failed? I mean, okay, because I completed.
Right. It ends the quest. You failed it.
Oh, because so I complete. Oh, so you kind of just went in there, shot him because you couldn't be bothered to deal with it, because you obviously knew the pain that came next, which was the.
Oh, what the stupid fetch quest shit? Yeah.
Exactly. I hate fetch. Again, this is why I sort of liked elements of this quest.
Yeah.
I liked what I did. Okay, so even though it's fetchy, I liked. So once you've spoken to the glowing battery guy, you can.
I can forget his name. His name's Jason Bright.
Yeah.
Just so awesome. And you even get to make mention of it in the game.
Yeah, you do. You can. It's like, I don't think I ever did say, Bright Sula. I don't think I ever bothered to do. Again, I was probably at the point where I just couldn't. I didn't want to have unnecessary talk by that point, which is rare for me. And then you go to the basement. Then again, also got lost on the way to the basement. So that's the other thing. And but eventually, once I got to the basement, I sensibly sort of saved before going in. And the first time I went in, I got killed quite quickly because I think I just walked in on one of the invisible nightkin, and it just sort of like absolutely destroyed me because I got a bit turned around. But then I decided I was just going to stealth. I was going to see if I could stealth mode my way through the thing, and that worked, because then I found their boss, whatever his name is, and kind of just I managed to do that entire basement bit without shooting anyone, which was great.
Davidson, I believe.
Davidson. Yeah, so I spoke to him, and then he's like, "Oh, they want to find the stealth boys." So I was like, "Great, good." And you'll go if I do that, fine. And then you speak to the ghoul whose name I also can't remember. Someone with an H. Was that the ghoul that you did, sort of combat-y ghoul guy who's?
I'm gonna have to check the wiki for him.
Hold himself up, and chatted to him, and but then he was like, "Oh, go find my friend," and
Harlan,
yes, I spoke to him, and he was going on about you've got to find my friend, and I was like, I don't want to find your friend. So fortunately, I had a stealth boy, and I just went to the computer that was behind him, and I found all the stuff about the stealth boys there, and it said that the Stealth Boys weren't there. So I went back and told Davis, and then it got weird with the conversation between the voice in his head. And but they believed me.
Antler! It wasn't the voice in his head. The voice wasn't in his head. It was coming from the Brahmin skull setting next to him.
It doesn't even have antlers.
He made that perfectly clear. It wasn't the voice in his head. This is Antler. He's sitting there looking right at you. So.
Yeah, so the voice in his head, and but fortunately for me, the voice in the head trusted me and believed me that the Stealth Boys weren't there. So he left, and I didn't bother then going back to see if whatchamacallit was okay, because I thought I'm bored now. So I went back and spoke to Jason Bright, the Great Glowing One. And he told me, then he started going on about like rockets, and I tried to talk him out of it because that didn't seem like a good idea, because, you know, I don't think 200-year-old tech's probably going to fly. And then he says, go and get some bits. And so fortunately, I went there, and he said, get some isotopy stuff. But I had the toy rocket, so I was like, let's use the toy rocket. And he was like, yeah, that'll work. And so I went. So I had to go back to Dinky Dino Land, and I bought all the rockets, all of the rockets, and ended up with a load of dinosaurs as well. Because when you go in the storeroom, there's dinosaurs and rockets, and I don't understand why you can buy a dinosaur off him for like 1,000, and there's like a whole storeroom full of them, which I've taken now, just for the sake of taking. And so yeah, I went back and gave him the rockets, and then he starts going on about some other things and the thrusters. And you go to the scrapyard, and I did pay for them. I'm going to be honest, I didn't try to. By this point, I just wanted this thing to be over. I just wanted this to be over. So
did you just literally walk through the door, plonk some caps on the table, walk over, pick up the engine, stick it on your shoulder, and walk straight back out with everything talking?
Yeah, I wish that's how it was in my head. Sadly, the game made me talk to her and go on about some stuff. But yeah, that was visually, I was just like, I'm giving you the money, and I'm going to go. I'm not even going to go into your scrapyard and look around like I normally would. I'm just going to go back and get this done, because quite frankly, by now, I want my payoff. If this rocket's going to go, and even if it's going to go south, I want to see a really, really big freaking explosion. It's like, I've put all this effort in. I want to see something blow up, or I want to see something fly. So, and I want to see it now.
Possibly both.
Yeah, I thought they
can
could
have both. That's an option.
So I went back and just gave him the stuff and said, just fix it. Because I didn't really have many dialogue options with him, actually, with Chris. I thought, like, because I didn't have my, was it your speech is, I think my speech wasn't at like 50, so I couldn't persuade him to, like, that he wasn't a ghoul. I couldn't sort of couldn't get that into his head, so I just kind of just said, yeah, sure, set the rockets off, and he did. So then I went up to the launch pad, also got lost on the way to finding it, or the viewing pad thing, because that's again nowhere near where you start. So I eventually got there, pressed the button, and I saw some rockets take off. So that was pretty cool.
And you get to listen to Flight of the Valkyrie.
Yes, you do. Yeah, launch music, as it's like, it's called. So I got to listen to some launch music, and I saw the rockets, and it looked like two of them sort of went off quite well, I guess, and one kind of looked like it might crash. But I have to. That is kind of all I'm up to at the moment. My save was staring out onto the closing dome, as it were. So that's kind of as far as I am. So that's where I'm at. But yeah, so it was an annoying quest in some ways, because I didn't like the sort of fetch side of things. I did like the fact that I could get rid of the Nightkin without having to kill any of them, because as my first pre-save encounter taught me, oh my god, that would not have gone well. Had I had to try and take them out in being hostile to me. So it was a much more satisfactory choice for me that I could just go and just talk my way into getting everything I want, and then sneaking my way to getting the answers that were needed for the voice in his head. So it's pretty good. So Yeah, so it was a quest of many emotions for me.
A thrill ride.
It was start to finish.
Yeah.
I was just wanting to say, I was going to ask Marcus, at what point did you shoot Chris Harrison in the face?
Please tell me it was the second you opened the door. That's even better.
I opened a door. I finished my conversation with him, and as he turned around, I shot him in the face, and then walked out, and then went straight back out.
Is that the only way you can fail it then? Like that you by shooting him or not building the rockets?
Something along that. I think there must be a way that you could get into there, go through the dialogue options, and then kill them all, and then it not fail. But because I never actually really sort of took on the mantle of the quest, I literally just walked up, saw the guy, went, "Oh, for fuck's sake," and then just shot him. And then immediately turned back around and walked out. It's just, since I shot him, it just said, "You failed." I was like, "That's fine."
It's fun.
I didn't really want to go through this bullshit anyway.
I think in hindsight, I should have taken that, but ultimately, I have now cleared it of ghouls and super mutants. So yeah, it's now means Novak is a vibrant trading community once more, thanks to me. So I can go back to my motel room and have a well-earned rest.
Yeah,
just don't get sold off to the slavers.
Yeah.
I will try not to.
I was going to say, so you, Manny, you shot.
Yeah.
And he kind of gave you the quest to go do Come Play With Me, but you didn't really need to do it because Manny was like face down on the floor.
Yeah. So essentially, I think I really wasn't paying that much attention to what he was saying. I think I skipped through a lot of his dialogue anyway, because I remember what it was like before and how annoying it was, and I only had an hour lunch break to do.
Fair enough.
I'm going to cut the fat on this one and then carry on. But what I did essentially is get to the point where I think he was going to take me to go see the glowing dick face. And I was like, I really can't be bothered with you right now. So I inserted, a present in the form of a bullet into the back of his skull, and left him sort of watering the floorboards with his blood. And I decided then at that point that I would just take out the whole entire control room of all the ghouls that were in there. So yeah, I pretty much wasted the whole entire top end of the facility just for the XP, and then I walked out.
Yeah, because that could have got you complete the quest, because it just says get rid of the ghouls. So you could have just, as you say, gone in there, killed everything. If you had just walked in there, killed everything, and then walked back out, that would have completed the quest too. Or so I believe.
Yes, but I think you have to have accepted the first part of the quest to then go through. But because I only got as far as speaking to that guy at the beginning, and then I didn't go any further. I didn't get.
No, I meant it would have completed the quest for Manny if Manny was still alive. That is, you would have completed his quest.
Yeah.
You by killing them all, you complete his quest. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to come fly with me, because you can.
But then I needed to have gone down into the basement and killed off all the Nightkin as well.
Yes, but this way you've left poor. I've forgotten his name again. I'm crap at names. Harland.
Yeah.
Harland downstairs with a Nightkin.
Yes.
And his dead girlfriend in the basement.
Yeah.
So no, he's not going to go down, and he's going to be in there eating rad roaches for protein and doing his business in the corner for like the next 5-6 years, because those Nightkin like going nowhere.
Yeah, I might go down at some point and just clear out the whole entire place, but at the moment I really can't be asked. So I decided at that point it was just, surplus to my requirements. So I would just, insert the bullet, turn around, walk away.
You see, I'd done everything the long way around. So like I went in there and talked to Chris, and I realized that he thought he was a ghoul, and I was like, okay, well, good on you. Well, I've got nothing against ghouls or people who think they're ghouls. Good luck with that. And then I talked to Jason and took on his quest, and he said there was demons downstairs, but I remember the Nightkin, so I knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Because my current character has previously went up Black Mountain, and he's met Nightkin before.
Mm.
And he was, oh, okay, so crazy, invisible super mutants. Right. Yeah. There's no reasoning with these nut jobs. So literally just went in there in sneak and just killed all of them, wiped them all out. Didn't even talk to Davidson because you still have on the compass, where it comes up where this one's in red.
Yeah.
And see, what would have helped you out as well, or is that if you had Eddie, is that if you needed to shoot anybody, Eddie lets you target people that are in stealth.
Yep. Yeah, it's always helpful when that happens.
Yeah, so, well, you can use them to target people yourself with VATS. I don't use VATS, but if you do use VATS, you can still target him.
And if you have Boon, as soon as you look down your gun sight, everything glows red that's an enemy anyway.
Oh, yeah, because he has the spotter perk.
Yep.
Awesome. So, yeah, you got the perfect confluence there. But, yeah, I just went in there and I just killed everything. And I made the round, and I went into Davidson's room, and I could see on my compass that he wasn't agitated to give off like this is an enemy type vibe, denoted by the red line. So, but I shot him in the head anyway. I had to shoot him twice in the head, which is quite rare, seeing as I got a sneak attack critical on him, and it still didn't instantly kill him. But at this point, I was only using a cowboy repeater, so. Sort of like it wouldn't have done that much damage. But yeah, got Davidson and everybody else. Went downstairs first, found someone. Did anybody else have a problem with Harlan's traps? Oh well, definitely not you, Marcus. But did you run into any traps in Harlan's room?
I did see them, but the kind of because I used the stealth boy when I went in there. So, well, after I spoke to him initially, and because you get trapped at the door when you chat to him, and then I kind of thought, I wonder if I can get past him, and I could see like there's a I could see like there was a door in the far corner of the room, so I just kind of. And then you sort of I tried to go in again, and then he's like, "Oh, have you found my girlfriend?" And you're like, "No, I'm not even going to look for her." But okay. So I kind of figured I needed to be hidden. So I had a stealth boy, so I used that, and I walked kind of diagonally across the room and didn't trip anything off. I did see some of the bear traps, but I didn't see anything else. I don't.
No, because I don't know whether it's just. Yeah, I don't know whether it's just my game or is it all games, but the fucker buries mines underneath the ground. So you can't actually see the fucking mine. And if you get close to it, if you don't have an explosives of a certain amount, you can't even disarm it because you haven't got enough level. I think it's explosives or repair. It's one of the two. You have to have a high enough skill to be able to dig it out of where he's buried it and then defuse it and take it out. So I went around and he must have had like 7 or 8 mines buried underneath the floor, and traps, was it bear traps and trip wires, shotguns. And I was like, motherfucker, there's fucking things everywhere. And then I finally got to the back room and I saw the computer. So I activated the computer. It's the wrong fucking one. The bastard had trapped that as well. The whole thing fucking exploded and killed me. I had to start the whole thing again. Come back in.
I did not have that as maybe. I mean, I'm not playing hardcore or anything, so maybe that has something to do with it. But I just went in and it was just a diagonal across the room. Didn't hit anything. Snuck my way up there. had to, and then found the computer and read the stuff. There was also something about sexual harassment in there as well, if I remember correctly. It was like, so yeah, I went into that, but it was that was relatively straightforward. But I liked the way I didn't have to kill anyone. So that was a big tick in the plus column for it. Considering there's so many minuses, so many other things.
True.
So but it was but I said all in all wasn't too bad. But I look forward to seeing what comes next, really.
So I think so I just went in there, killed everybody, then went downstairs and talked to Chris and that, and got one out. Met and found my. I went because I've only got an endurance of 1. I have got shit rad resistance, but basically none without bloody suit. So I got there, and that one I think has a resistance of 40. But by then I know I already had the bloody the spacesuit, didn't I?
Yeah, true.
But you get there, and then you can use that one to repair the spacesuit up to snuff. But you find Mr. Radical and his note out by Clark Field. Did you read his note of the stuff that he was doing?
I never saw it. I can't remember that one, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, he's going on about how now he's got this yellow suit. He can go prospect anywhere. Doesn't matter how much radiation. And he went down to, was it the scrapyard, and bought a big bottle of yellow goo, which was highly radioactive. And I'm going to go down to Clark Field and dump it all over myself while standing in radiation, because no radiation can possibly harm me. He goes, by the way, I think I might have ate something funny because my hair is falling out and I'm pissing blood.
Whoops.
Yeah, dying of radiation poisoning. And he thinks it's something he's ate, and he's walking around thinking he can go absolutely anywhere just because he's wearing a shitty yellow radiation suit. Definitely deserve to die that way. Yeah. Apparently, you can get to a point in the quest where you convince Chris that they were using him to be able to fix all the rockets.
Yeah.
And you can convince him to sabotage, or I don't know whether if you convince him that he isn't a ghoul, and then he wants to sabotage and kill them all in the rockets by sabotaging the rockets to make them blow up.
I think it's when he gets told that he's not able to go on the mission. Because when they turn, I think, if memory serves, I remember playing it a long time ago, that I think you can convince him that he's not a ghoul, and he gets a little bit grumpy about it. And then, dependent on how you finish off the conversation when you're talking to the glowing one, I think it can either go one of two ways. He either turns around and he's like, all right, okay, well, I'm the savior of you guys. I'm going to go stay somewhere and, bask in my own glory. Or he gets really bitter about it, and I think he might turn around and sabotage it using sugar bombs or something like that, if memory serves. And he like dumps it all. I don't know. It's like sugar in a gas tank type of thing, and it blows up when they fire off or something.
Yeah. So I just let it play right through all the way to the end, where he was going like on and on, sort of like, oh, I suck, I'm awful, what am I going to do now? I'm useless. Like, of course I'm not a ghoul. So, and then there's no speech check, but there's only 2 lines. There's like line that is, oh, no, you're all right, Chris. No, you're okay. You ain't that bad, Chris. I don't mind you. Or there's like, oh, shut the fuck up, you loser. That's basically the only 2 lines. And it's always either sort of like, oh, no, you're fine. And he progressively gets worse and worse. So, and I think you have to go through 4 of them. And in the back of my character's mind was just like, a guy just like built rockets out of like, sensor modules and scrap metal. So I want to keep this guy around just in case, like, I need him to build me, a nuclear warhead or something like that. So let's keep him like sweet, everything like that. So sweet talk him, and then you get to the end, and then you can convince him to go and live in Novak. He ends up going and living there. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, if memory serves, I think he is a little whiny bastard, though, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
So what happened? So I didn't. Yeah, I said I kind of by the end of it, I kind of lost interest, but I didn't have a high enough speech check at the time to convince him that he was a human. So he thinks he's a ghoul. Pardon me. So he just thinks he's a ghoul, and then he's fixed it, and obviously he's not on the ship. So just like, what does he kind of do then? Like,
then he realized it. Yeah, because you've got the chance that just before you do the fetch quests. So just before you do the fetch quests, you can convince him that he's not a ghoul, and if you do it at that point, then he wants to get vengeance on them for not making him realize that he's not a ghoul, using him to be able to fix all the rockets up. But if you do if you don't have the speech check or you don't use it, then you can go out, do the fetch quest, can come back, and then once it gets to the point, then they're saying, Chris, you got to stay here because you can't come with us, because if you do, even if you set that foot down on this launch pad, you're going to die because the radiation is too high. So then they go off and take it, and then he goes, oh, wait, I'm not a ghoul, I'm a human. He just suddenly realizes you don't have to convince him.
Oh, okay, because I didn't have that conversation. He just it just said, go to the launch pad. So I did. And I haven't spoken to him since. So, okay.
Yeah, you must have missed something then, because I know that I think it's scripted in there that he turns around and wants to go, and the glowing git, has that sort of like wonderful empowered speech about how he's awesome and all the rest of it, and he saved them.
Yeah, I heard the speech because as it said, go to the viewing platform or something. So I just turned around and went there, and then it was giving the speech, and I got, it took me ages to get there, and then I pressed the button and watched those rockets fly. So it was fun.
Fair enough.
And that was sort of that was kind of my quest. So it was fun. And then I haven't had a chance to go back and finish. They went that away, but by it sounds of it, as if I just go and speak to Manny, that pretty much is the
that sort of
that kind of is.
That'll move you on to Boulder City Showdown. So the next two walls are back. So
okay. There you go. So yeah, that's me so far. So as I said, I haven't really had a chance to get into this properly. So of late, so I will have to try and find some time.
I'll tell you what then, because I'm short of time. If we hold it on that one, if you think that's right, we can catch up, because also I have 2% left battery on my laptop.
And it's I've got I'm with you.
Small screaming child.
And and I've just got to go to bed because I've got to be up and get to work in the morning. So
strangely enough, we all have lives.
Yeah, it's a sad thing.
Hey, speak for yourself.
Damn you, work getting in the way of all the other things. So but I think that's and that kind of brings us up to, I think, where the guys are going to have the next chat, isn't it? Well, it won't be the next one. It'll have happened by the time this one's broadcast. So
yes.
It's timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly.
If that's all right with you, Colin.
Yep, perfectly fine. So next time we meet, we shall be doing Boulder City Showdown.
Yep.
And a ring-a-ding-ding.
Cool.
With a little bit of mambo on your side. No, I was going to say that's when we start getting into the factions.
Yes.
Cool. There we go.
You get basically you get an invitation to all the factions, I think. Yes, you do. So you'll get an introduction to Yes Man through this quest. You get offered an introduction to Mr. House. You get an introduction to the ambassador of the NCR. And and you get an invitation to go to the Caesar faction as well.
Yeah.
So Ring It Ding Ding is where it actually all began, which is kind of weird since this is kind of like the fourth episode. Well, that'll be the fourth episode, and that's when it all starts. So
Ah, wow, okay. Exciting stuff then. So who's
Yeah,
going to
look
woo
forward to
me?
We'll finally
Who's
find
gonna-
out which faction Laura is going to choose.
Yeah, who impresses me the most? It's sort of a kind of apprentice situation going on here.
It'll be like a point scheme.
Yeah. Point scheme. I'm going to be like the Alan Sugar of the wasteland. It's like,
Well, that would actually work quite well because he's very handy with sciencey type stuff. He's quite dumb as well.
yeah, it's true. I mean, let's face it. Yeah, exactly. I'm fairly sure Amstrads would survive a nuclear apocalypse. They're fairly chunky things. Anyway, it's like, but yeah, cool. All right, that's great. So, well, that's it in that case. If we'll give it a rest for this session, and we'll get back to next time. Looking forward to it. And I will have actually done a bit more, I think, by then. Hopefully, I'll have done some side quests as well. I'll find a day.
awesome. Well,
Cool.
thank you very much for joining me again, Marcus and Laura.
No
It's
worries.
awesome talk to you again.
Yeah,
And-
it is always fun. It is fun.
Brilliant. Well,
Perfect. Okay, dokie. Well,
take
in
it
that
easy.
case, yeah, chat to you guys next time, and obviously, look forward to listening to what those people on the other side of the pond come up with as well.
Indeed.
Later, guys.
Cheers. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
What is it about the automobile that divides us,
Some of us see it solely as a method of transportation.
while others see it as a platform for something greater?
Engine upgrade, body modification.
Brakes, suspension, anything we can do to squeeze out a little more power.
It's what drives us. When the car is back on the road and you can feel the difference your hard work has made,
It's exhilarating. Join us, Marcus, Modology UK,
Blake, Modology US.
on our podcast where we talk about our vehicles, street and race experiences.
Build ideas, and the newest mods and cars on the market.
Join us on YouTube to see our rides, races, repairs, upgrades, and other drivers, cars that share the same passion.
Modology.
Modology,
Look for us in the ASA podcasting family.
and on YouTube in 2018.